welcome to another wargame review from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And today we're taking a look at the latest Commands and Colors game. Kind of.
Re-release of it,
Yes.
right?
Samurai Battles. And this is just put out by GMT Games, designed by Richard Borg, who's done all of the Commands and Colors series, of which I think we've now played all of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've played every one of them.
Apart from Battle Lore First Edition.
We have played Battlelore, though.
Yes.
And it's good.
Sure.
It's good. They're all good. They're all light.
Yes.
And we made this comment. It's a game.
Yep.
These, more than anything that we play, are games.
Yes. So this is
anything can happen.
A two-player tactical war game. Mm-hmm. But like you said, sure, it's a very light historical simulation, but it's more focused on being a playable and enjoyable game.
Yeah.
In the sense that, like, yeah, there's rules that reflect some of the theme and the time period and stuff, but, like, you know, you draw cards, those are going to affect what you can do on the board.
Yeah.
You roll some dice. Do you hit anything? Yes or no?
Well, I don't want anyone to think that there's no strategy here. There is some strategy
Yes.
in how you use your units, how you use them and maneuver them to cause the most difficulty using terrain. Although the terrain in this was very different than some of the other
Yeah, it was.
way terrain is used. Once again, I don't want them all the same.
Yes.
I'm glad they're different. But there is some skill in that regard, but you're relying on card draws.
Yep.
Right? So if you can, it's that old adage, well, I just can't draw anything in the center and everything's in the center.
Yes.
You know, that happens from time to time. They throw in these dragon cards, which are way cool.
Yes, and I think, you know, they have, like, the tactics decks and all this other stuff in the other ones. I felt like in this game, some of those dragon cards were, like, extremely cool.
Yeah.
And, like, really affected some of the things that I could do. Which, I don't know, I thought that was really neat. But yeah, this is a huge game to start with.
40 scenarios.
Which is the most in any Commands and Colors game. You know, unless you're, like, buying all the expansions. In the base game, 40 scenarios. Like, and we talked about this also, if you're going to buy a Commands and Colors game, probably
pretty good investment.
Like, if you're only going to buy one, if you only had $60, get this one.
Yeah, we kind of looked at some of the other, ones that we have. Jacobite Rising had 13 scenarios.
Yeah, like Napoleonics is like
12 or
15.
14. Yeah,
and most of them are around that.
Yeah,
you know, some of the bigger ones, like, ooh, I get like kind of 20 scenarios. This is twice as many as the biggest one.
It's just so many. I mean, you could play through these. I mean, it's going to take you forever to play them. But then you flip it out and you play both sides, and you've got 80.
Yes,
80 games. So, yeah, if you're going to invest in one, I think this is a very good one. The other thing I really liked about this was, man, the production quality in this one is really off the chart.
Yeah, it's ramped up. It really is.
The stickers are... The silhouettes used on the stickers are by far the best I've seen.
I would probably agree with that.
In my opinion. The dice... And I'm trying to remember what other volume had the embossed dice. Was it CNC Tricorn?
Which is Compass. That's a different company.
Yeah, it's a different
though.
company. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I feel like everything else is stickers.
Yeah,
these are
their like future printings will have nice ones.
Right.
But like, yeah, these are custom made dice with the symbols on them.
Yeah.
Like, and you get it. And they also don't just give you 6.
Yeah, you get like 12 dice.
Yeah, they give you
3,
a
5.
bunch. Which
12 dice.
I felt like in some of the other ones it's like, oh, here's like 9 dice.
Right.
Like, yeah, this one.
Nothing worse than when you're trying to roll like 8 dice, you have to roll 5 and 3. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Give me 12
I'm
dice.
gross. I'm a dice snob. Give me the dice.
So also the terrain tiles were just fantastic. The forests are absolutely gorgeous. They're just drawn in a very interesting way.
Well, yeah, and it's a different style from like Memoir 44 and Napoleonics, which is really cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
It feels very Eastern, very Oriental, very Japanese. I mean, Nihon Teki is what it is in Japan. That's what you would call this.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I just really liked that element. I just loved the different types of units. The samurai are your elite units. You've kind of got your ashigaru, which are kind of like your trained peasants.
Yes.
And then you've got some low-level guys. And it's just, I just think it's cool. So you got to figure out how to use them, how to get the best out of those units while protecting them, because you can't you can't let spearmen out there against samurai because they're just going to get obliterated.
Yes.
And I just thought that was very well done in this one. There's kind of that combat class differentiation that we saw, like, say, in With It or On It.
Yep.
Where A's are your hoplites and your
your
phalanx.
heavy Roman infantry and stuff.
Whereas C is your slingers and your...
Yeah.
You kind of get that feeling with this as well. I think you get that feeling with almost all of the volumes, but this one felt pronounced.
Some more than others. Like Ancients, you've got your heavy infantry and your medium infantry, all that kind of stuff. Some of them it's a bit more generic. This one, it's very much like, here's my samurai. They got a red square on them. Don't mess with them.
Yeah.
But if you're careless with them, you will get absolutely punished for them.
Yep.
And that ties into the honor and fortune system that's in this game.
Which is fantastic.
Yes, it's excellent and a huge selling point for this one for me. So, I think a couple other games have done this. So I know the Great War Commander had like a command, tactics skill command economy.
Yeah.
You would, you could earn them through dice rolls, or you'd get a couple.
I think Red Alert had that as well, where you would get certain...
Both by PSC games.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's
chits.
And those you could then use to fuel these little tactics cards. And that's basically all you did with them. You gained them, you spent them. In this one...
or you could use them...
For artillery.
To it. Well, true, but in this one you could use them to inspire.
Well, in this game, they do so much more than
right. They're a little more usable.
Yeah, and it was, which is cool. Like, they put this economy in the game, great. But now they've put more touch points into it. So the dragon cards are really neat. They give you little special abilities. Oh, you can ignore some flags on, like, one unit with a leader, or you can... Like, I had one where it was, I play my command card that's like, attack in the right, but then it's like, you can choose which flank to attack in. So I could attack 3 on the left instead of on the right, or in the center.
Right.
Which is very nice. But, you spend your points on those, but you can also spend them, like you said, to inspire. So a unit who's attacking with a leader can be inspired, and they get an extra dice to roll. Or you can... and so you can spend them all ways, but the other way is you can lose them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's any other ways to do that in the other games. But in this one,
I don't think so.
I had some dragon cards that were like, your opponent loses a bunch of honor and fortune, great. But like, when your units retreat in battle, which is very dishonorable, you lose honor.
Yeah.
And that also ties into this kind of unit quality. So when your little, your Ashigaru or your levied peasants retreat, you lose 1 honor per hex that they retreat.
Yeah.
Great. But if they're stacked with a leader, you lose an additional honor.
Or if they're samurai,
you lose 2 per hex. And if it's samurai with a leader, like if those guys retreat, it's unlikely.
Yeah.
But if they have to, your honor is just like, it just wipes you out.
Yep.
You then can't fund your dragon cards. And if you have to lose honor through more retreats or through dragon card play, and you have none, you then start to make this lack of honor roll.
Yeah.
Which
I had to do twice.
You roll a bunch of dice, and your units just start defecting because your daimyo has no honor, and you're like, this battle's done with, they're cowards. And it's just such a really neat little extra layer of the economy. It's not just getting them and spending them. Like, your battle tactics and what you do can affect your honor, which affects your card play, which affects your battle. It's just really cool. I really liked the development of that little subsystem in this game.
Yeah, I thought it was a good addition, and I think, once again, it's a thematic element of this time period.
The theme,
The other really cool thing in relation to that honor concept was, if a leader ever was going to be captured or killed...
Yeah, if he was forced to retreat, he would normally lose a bunch of honor.
Yep.
So you can
commit seppuku, which is ritual suicide, and you deny the other player that loss, and you deny that
a victory flag.
So you did that once as well to me, and I thought, oh, that's really, while it sucked, it was really well done and well integrated.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that element of it,
and it's real simple. It's just like, he's on his own. If he's got to retreat, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna kill myself. But instead of totally hosing you, and you don't get the honor, you don't get the flag, but what you do get is you get a free dragon card, which is nice. You get something out of it,
right? You still kill their leader. You just don't get the normal benefits, which really hurt me because it would have ended the game at that point.
Yes.
You were able then to go another round and do kind of a coup de grace and really kill. So it was very swingy, and I like that. It felt very it was very bitter to lose that way, but it was also very, oh, that's really interesting.
And the other layer of that is instead of like suiciding all of your leaders, because whenever you do that, you randomly lose a command card, and your hand is now permanently smaller.
Yeah.
So you can't just willy-nilly seppuku all your leaders, because then you've got 2 command cards, and you're like, I can't do anything anymore. Like, you'll lose the game that way, too. So you've got to be kind of choice about when you do it. But I thought that little sub-economy and all the different touch points that work within the framework of the games to make that work was just so interesting and tied to the theme, which is a big deal with these samurai, the Commands and Colors games, right?
Yeah.
You want to get some of that flavor in it, and I felt like all the things that I know about Japanese medieval warfare, which isn't very many.
Yeah, I don't know that we're
lots
experts
of honor
on that at all.
And ritual suicide.
Yeah.
Both of those feature in this game, right?
Yeah, and the power of samurai. So,
yes.
but both feared on the battlefield as well as skilled. So, yeah, I also, frankly, we played a lot of these.
Yes.
And many of them we played several times. I think Napoleonics and Ancients are probably the ones we played the most.
Probably, yeah.
Most of the other ones we played 1 or 2 times just to get a feel for them, and then we haven't come back to them. I'm going to be honest, this one, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this would rank very highly for me. I know we did those did we do a ranking of these?
We did.
Like, this one's going to be pretty high up on there. The more we play that, I think that's going to be cemented.
Well, the interesting thing is, I think since we did that ranking, Jacobite Rising has come out.
Yep.
And I believe now this one has, been reissued. So the reality is we probably need to do that again, because I think that would change.
Yeah.
I think it would change my ranking. This one I think would be very, very high on that ranking.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
You get literally 40 scenarios, which is just a mind-boggling amount.
Yeah.
But it's also, like, as much as we talked about all this extra stuff that's in there, I feel like there are other games that bog down a bit more. Mm-hmm. And I felt like this one played at a very regular clip, and there wasn't too much chrome where I was like, oh, I attacked with horses on your horses, and your horses can now retreat, and then I'm like some of the more complicated mechanisms aren't in here, and it's just been refined and refined.
Yeah.
And it, like you said, production values off the charts as well.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll show you the map, and then at least some of the systems and how they work, and then we'll wrap up with some final thoughts. So here's a look at the map, and this is like post-game stuff. So, big hex board, big nice terrain tiles. That's what we're talking about with the drawing style. It's just a little bit different from like the other titles, and it looks like it's kind of hand-drawn. I don't know. I really, really liked it. We've got some rivers, fields, things like that. It's a very nice game to look and play around with, which is a big deal. And the dice here as well. Fully embossed, really nice, no stickers. You can scratch this, it's not coming off. These are beautiful, gorgeous, and they're big dice as well. Really, really like it. Huge thumbs up on the component quality. So, if you've never played Commands and Colors Samurai, or any Commands and Colors game, which I know you all have, but we're going to do a quick look here anyway. You're going to have a hand of these command cards, and it's going to say, order 3 units on this left flank. You can see the board is divided up by these 2 dotted lines. Center, right flank, left flank, as you look at it, I guess. I'm looking at it the other way, so we're doing this upside down. So I'm going to order 3 units on this side of the board. Cool, I got these cav units with a leader, I got these units over here, and these units back here. So you're going to move them based on their movement value, and there's a little chart here that tells you all of their different move factors, combat dice that they're going to roll, and all that. So you're going to move some units around, and then you're going to do all your moves, and then you do all your attacks. When you attack, you're going to roll a number of dice, as stated here. So we're doing some close combat. And let's look here. We've got 3 cavalry units. Here, let's get them in a little wedge formation. Yes! And they've got a little supporting cav leader as well. And we'll have them attack these little arquebuses here. So, what you're going to do is you're going to look and consult your little table, and it says, our cav roll 4 dice in close combat. So we'll get 4 dice together, and then because you have a leader, you can inspire them by spending 1 of your honor points, honor and fortune points, to gain an extra dice. We're not going to do that because we don't think we really need to. So we're just going to take 4 dice, and we're going to roll them. and you're looking to match symbols. Now, these little arquebuses here have a green circle in the top right-hand corner. So we've got 2 green symbols. We're going to kill 2 guys. And then we rolled a blue triangle, which is a miss because it doesn't match. And then we rolled 1 flag. A flag is a retreat. Now, there are a couple instances where you can ignore flags. If you are adjacent to 2 friendly units, you can ignore a flag. If you have a leader stacked with you, you can ignore a flag. And sometimes, like heavy armored samurai units with this red square, they can ignore flags too. But in this instance, we don't have any of those, so we have to move back a space towards our edge of the board. And in doing so, we lose one of our honor tokens. That gets tossed away from our little pool of them. And then you can kind of take ground. Because we're cavalry with a leader, we can do an additional attack to kind of follow up if we wanted to. But if we were just regular infantry, we could not do that follow-up attack. But that's the game, right? It's looking through my little hand of cards. What was I dealt? Sometimes you don't have cards that you want. I can't do any attacks over here because my attacks are in the middle, or it's like some leadership, or just some firing units. So you got to be, you're kind of at the mercy of your hand of cards as well. That's why we say it's a light war game. Then you got to chuck dice for combat, also a light war game, with both of those kind of mixed together. But we're going to talk about this honor system here real quick, because the honor system, the honor and fortune, is just so cool. So there's a big pile of these. You're going to start the scenario with a bunch. In this one, we started with 6. So this is your little pool, you got 6 of them. And you're going to start with some of these dragon cards. And the dragon cards are little special abilities. So you can play alongside your command card, target 1 enemy leader. Before ordering any of your units, so before we actually execute our little order on here, you roll 1 die against the target enemy leader. So you just pick a leader, and you're going to roll a die against him. If you roll a sword, he's dead. You assassinated him. And if he's eliminated, you will not have to lose a command card. Sometimes you lose command cards when your leaders are killed. So, what you're going to do is, before I activate my little cav and do my attack, I'm going to spend the cost of my ninja assassin, which is 2 honor. I've got 6, I'm going to spend 2. And I'm going to roll a die, and I'm looking for a sword. So it's kind of random, it's 1 in 6. I rolled the swords, amazing. You can't take that back. And then the enemy leader is dead. He's just dead, he's off the map, dead. Which is great, because now they don't have that leader, he's assassinated. Killed leaders give you a flag, so you're 1 step closer to victory as well. But the problem is I've now used a bunch of my honor. If I get attacked, let's say I do an attack and I'm not really successful and I'm kind of stuck here, and some guys attack me back, great. If I get attacked back and I have to retreat, I'm going to start losing honor, because retreat is very dishonorable. Regular blue or green infantry units, when they retreat, they're going to retreat 1 per flag rolled. So if you roll a bunch of flags, 1 flag, you move back 1 space. You lose 1 honor for that. If you have to retreat 2 spaces, it's 1 per space. If it's samurai units, so let's say we've got these 3 samurai units, they've got these little red squares on them. If they have to retreat, they're the samurai. They're very honorable, they're much better trained. They cost 2 per hex, so that's going to drain your resources. If you have a leader with them, it's an additional 1, so this 1 hex costs you 3 to retreat. But samurai inherently ignore the first flag, and if they're stacked with a leader ignores another flag. So you have to roll 3 flags to make these guys retreat. It's very difficult, but if you're rolling 4 dice, plus 1 for being inspired, maybe plus 1 from some event card, you can chuck 6 dice against people, and this is a feasible result. And you do that because this is going to absolutely plummet their honor and fortune. So now I'm drained of my honor and fortune, I cannot buy any of my cards. I can't activate these abilities. That hurts. Or if I'm forced to retreat again, I have to then spend an honor and fortune to retreat. I don't have any. So then what happens? I'm going to have to make a lack of honor check. So that's 4 dice, plus 1 dice for every honor that you needed to spend that you couldn't. Well, it was just 1, so we're going to roll 5 dice. And from here, every green symbol you roll eliminates a guy from this. And then this red symbol, we're going to eliminate a red symbol from the closest red unit, which is these guys over here. So he's going to lose a unit. That's brutal. And that's what you're going to do. So if you end up rolling a bunch of symbols, you're going to end up losing a whole bunch of guys. And it's this kind of like lack of honor. Guys start to turn tail and run. And it's almost like a kind of this rolling rout that can happen. Because now you're out of honor, you're desperately trying to get more, and all the enemy's trying to do is get flag on you to make you retreat more, or lose more honor, because then you're going to make this roll again and again, and it's just going to deteriorate. And unless you get your honor back and rally your troops, that's going to keep going, and you get into this momentum. Because now my units are the weaker, I'm going to charge them, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to get closer to winning the game. I'm going to charge more guys, I'm going to force them to retreat more. Then you're going to make more of these rolls. It's this really, really cool game, and it means what it does is it makes this little economy much more important, I think, than in some of the previous titles. Like, it was important, like, yeah, I need it to fund my little special abilities, but here it really has significant game effects on it. But outside of that, it's this moving, attacking guys. Everyone's going to dissolve, and you get into this kind of chaos swirling combat at times towards the end of games. And then, you get 7 flags. In this scenario, you win the game. You've killed enough guys, enough leaders, and it's done with. So that's kind of how the game works. I know that's kind of a very high level, but there's a ton of scenarios in this, and it's a very, very good time. But this little honor subsystem and how it actually plays into the game much more than in previous titles is excellent and thematic, and I love it. And instead of, losing honor from this guy retreating, you can say he's going to seppuku and kill himself because he doesn't want to lose any honor. That's great, but my opponent randomly draws one of these. This is discarded, and my hand is now permanently smaller, so I've got less tactical flexibility, but I also deny him a victory flag. If that was a lone leader, I deny him the loss of my honor kind of thing. It's very, very, very cool. So what we'll do is we'll wrap up with a few final thoughts. So that was a look at the game. I had a blast with this one, right?
I did as well, yep.
Excellent game. I like Commands and Colors.
I do too.
Primed to like this. We played Sekigahara, and that might be it with Japanese
as far as medieval
games.
I mean, we have some others. We have Ran, we have Samurai from GMT.
Yes.
We just have not gotten
We have Rising Sun.
we haven't played those. So yeah, this is one of the few games that we played on the subject.
Yes.
Sekigahara is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great game.
It also is very thematic and feels, like you're a daimyo in Japan.
Yeah, because that one's at a much larger scale as well. But there's really cool elements of flavor in that with like, I'm bluffing with my units and some of them might not fight with me.
Yeah.
It's a much larger layer of control. But this one, it was neat because video game wise, I've played Total War Samurai 2 a lot.
That sounds fantastic.
It's extremely good.
Yeah.
But and it's like a big campaign game.
PC game, I'm assuming.
And then you get, we're fighting a pitched battle and it's lines of dudes and you fight it out. So like, I vaguely knew some of the names in here and kind of maybe some of the things that like I'm supposed to do. But at the same time, this is Commands and Colors. Yeah. It's less about having that real strict level of control about formations and units. You're trying to keep your battle line together, but you're trying to just kind of kill each other with the cards of dice.
I think the interesting thing, though, is a lot of those tenets of medieval warfare, like holding a solid line.
Yeah.
You will be rewarded if you can do that. There are some cards that Serpentine one.
Yeah, the Serpent Command. I had a full battle line, and I was able to issue an order to every single one of my units.
You had like 10 units, and you were preparing that, right?
Absolutely.
You knew that was in your hand. You were preparing that. So in essence, you're following historiosity, the historical, and you were rewarded for that.
Yeah.
There are some really cool elements like that. One of the cards I enjoyed quite often that I drew twice and used it to great effect was Cavalry Charge.
Yes.
I happened to have my cavalry in good position. I had them in good order. And man, I was able to really use that card to my advantage and do some very interesting things. So if you can keep those, your powerful units in good order, you can keep your lines, you are able to be rewarded. Remember also, flags are able to be ignored, at least one flag, when you're supported and adjacent to 2 other friendly units. So
it becomes very strong.
Yeah.
Like you're definitely encouraged from the game mechanisms to do that, which is also historical.
Yeah.
Which again, when a game can do that and it's obvious, it's like, yeah, that's cool. That's good design.
Well, it's well designed. It's well thought out. It's also looking at history and trying to incorporate and model that.
Well, and then you're sat there like, I've got a good battle line that's intact. You've got one that's intact. Who's going to charge first?
Yeah.
And it's like...
Now, the other thing we did talk about, because once again, when we play these games, a lot of times we're like, oh, that was an interesting concept. Sometimes in these commands and color games, you're trying to target weaker units.
Yes.
You're trying to break that formation.
Yes.
Get them to retreat. Get them to run away so that you can pick them off and gain a battle flag. I saw that in this game considerably when we would retreat one guy. It's like, remember my cavalry charge?
Yeah.
I ran right. There's no zones of control here. I ran right between all your guys just to target those Ashigaru arquebus guys in the back and got a battle flag because I crushed them. Now, I got that battle flag, but then my best unit was out of position.
Yes.
I would have been better served, I think, to go in a different route because ultimately I lost. But that's part of that game element. There's some risk you're going to take.
Yes.
There's some things that you're going to do that are going to work somewhat, but ultimately in the end they may come back to hurt you a little bit.
Just also reminded me of the other really cool tiny little bit of theme was that Cav samurai unit that charged my little Ashigaru dudes gained no honor from doing that. Normally when you roll honor on an attack roll, you gain an honor.
Yep.
But because it was like your big dudes were the leader against these like peasants.
You don't get any honor of that.
There's no honor in there.
Yeah.
And I just like tiny little elements of that. It's all on this little reference sheet. So it's very easy to like remember the little tiny exceptions, but you're like, that's cool.
Yeah. When a game
Like,
can
it's
do that,
cute.
when a game
It's
can do
nice.
that kind of stuff, it is very cool. So once again, I really like this game.
Oh, yeah.
Had a great time playing it. I'd love to play through sequentially the 40 scenarios.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It would take forever. I think this game, it took us almost 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't quick because we did have a lot of units.
Yeah, this is one of the bigger scenarios as well. 7 flags aside is needed. So
A lot of them are 3 to 5.
Yeah, and it goes a little bit quicker.
But we played this one because it was 7 flags and it was
I wanted to
a
get
little
into
bigger.
some meat of it. Wanted to have some of the terrain effects and a large variety of the unit types as well.
So had a great time with this one. I would play this again in a heartbeat. I'm not so sure this isn't in my top 3 of all the CNC volumes.
It would be hard to not put it there.
Yeah.
It would be very hard to not put it there. So Commands and Colors Samurai Battles from GMT. This is available.
This just came out, I think, about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
We've kind of been a little negligent in playing it because why?
Because of our World War I Guns of August mistake.
Guns of July, August, September, October, and parts of November.
Oh, they'll be home for Christmas.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we kind of put newer games on the shelf.
Everything was on the back burner,
and played, what did we play, 13
Yeah.
World War I games. So we're now trying to get back to playing some new games from 2021. This was one we've been wanting to play.
Yeah, this is...
You spent forever stickering this.
Yeah, there's a lot of blocks. A lot of scenarios, a lot of blocks.
And they're small. Actually, the Ancients, I think, are the similar size, but maybe they're not smaller. Maybe I'm just
I don't know.
misremembering.
But, I have to line up the wood grain.
Yep. Oh,
vertically
you do not have to do
on
that.
every single one.
No.
You have to do that.
No.
Because otherwise, that's just inconsistent.
I will say this. Your stickering is impeccable here.
Well,
this one's a little off.
It kind of has to be after you've stickered so many games.
Well, these are pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I do them and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to peel that one off.
Just want to get it all on.
Yeah, but anyway, great game.
This
great
took
game.
me like a week to stick.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
there's a lot of units here.
Samurai Battles from GMT. If you can only pick one, I would probably recommend this, unless you're like super set on a theme, because the amount you get in the box will serve you for like a lifetime, basically.
Yeah.
And I think the theme is extremely cool and is interesting. And each one of these battles has 2 paragraphs of little history about it.
Yeah.
So I've got like 40 scenarios worth of learning to do as well, which is nice. So I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
So, Samurai Battles from GMT Games. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I've been Alexander for theplayersaid.com.
And I'm Grant.